Hey everyone. Today we're making a Terrazzo soap. Last week, if you watch me on a regular basis, you will know I made a confetti soap using the clay soaps from the clay soap or Clays in Melt and Pour series. Um, I saved one of each of the types of clay soaps I made specifically to make a confetti soap. And then when I was grating those up, as you tend to do to make a confetti soap, you get down to the end, and I did not want to grate my fingers into the pile of grated soap. So I'm cutting them now into chunks. I'm adding a couple of other soaps that I had because I didn't really have enough confetti. I mean, not confetti, enough terrazzo chunks to make the soap I wanted. There are this same style soap can also be called confetti. I've heard it called confetti, but because the grated soap look um, is also called confetti, this is a way to make a difference between the two. If you don't know what terrazzo is, I'm guessing you never lived in Florida. Terrazzo is a type of flooring that is common in the southern states, particularly in Florida. It's a cement with very tiny chopped up pieces of rock, and that is then kind of polished over the top. They're very flat. There's no chunks on it. It's kind of sliced through, and then highly polished and buffed. It is a beautiful flooring. Um, Although don't fall down on it. I have injuries beyond injuries from falling on terrazzo floor as a kid, and or at least I mean no lingering injuries, but you don't want to fall on it. Trust me, it is harder than any type of, well, it is just straight up cement. So, but it's the hardest flooring I've ever come in contact with. And, but it's gorgeous and people like it, even though it can be difficult to maintain. If the polish comes off or if the coating that protects it comes off, it can stain quite easily. But boy, people love it. Um, and it makes a beautiful soap. The look of it makes a beautiful soap. It's a great way to use up scraps. Like I said, I had these left from those clay soaps. You can use whatever scraps you have lying around as long as they are good soap still. You don't want to take your botanical experiments that you've tried that are molding or questionable and use those. You don't want to use a soap that you accidentally put too much fragrance oil in or anything else like that. It needs to be a nice, safe, healthy soap. And then from there, choose fragrances that go together and colors that you would like the look of together and get to chopping. And you can do a variety of sizes. I like this one's kind of small and medium. I like that combo. If you kind of have a few that are a little bigger than others, it doesn't need to be perfectly even. It is not typically in the flooring style of terrazzo. And I know because terrazzo popularity kind of had a resurgence a few years ago, and people were using all types of um, making all different types of craft using this, not just flooring. So you might find a lot of other things using the same aesthetic, but it typically will have you know a variance of the sizes. They're not uniform typically. So um, that being said, I was pulling out any chunks I thought that were too big, and then and creating a little side pile there of some that were a little smaller. I was thinking of creating that or putting that on the top for a look and leaving them kind of bumpy, but I decided not to leave it bumpy. I kind of mushed them in so they're flat. Took my little spatula. You'll see I flatten them out so that they look more like a polished terrazzo floor, although kind of sparse on the top. But again, the look is on the inside when you cut it. This is like a confetti soap, only going to work if you cut through the soap. So this isn't a soap to do in a single mold. It just doesn't turn out as nice. You can, sure. It does work if you use clear soap. So that's a different look and a different thing. But in a soap that uses anything but a clear base, you want to put it in something you can cut the front of, either cut it off, or like I'm doing here, making a loaf. A loaf is the best way to do these, in my opinion, because you slice it up, and as you slice it up, each one at least has one face of it that is nice and sliced through and gives the look and feel of terrazzo. Um, I just want to mention here that I started with detergent-free clear soap. This is an older detergent-free soap, just exactly like I did in my confetti soap there, and so it's not as clear as it was when I bought it several years ago. Soap does not expire; it just might lose its clarity, and that's what this did. And by soap, I'm meaning melt and pour soap. If you have a super fatted soap, you might have the oils go rancid on you. I don't know, but because I don't make cold processed soap, but this particular soap, I knew I was going to add um, some of a little couple of chunks. Actually, I think maybe a whole bar of my rose clay soap into the batter, or the liquid portion of this, because the others don't get heated up again. They don't melt unless you pour too hot. You do have to be careful with temperature, not too hot, not too cold. And that's going to take some experimenting. I tend to go on the colder side, but don't let it get to where it's starting to not be liquid. You still want it a nice liquid, nothing kind of goopy. You don't want it getting super thick on you. It won't stick together very well if you do that. I believe I poured it at like 118, 116, and that is for a detergent free soap that has a very low melting point and also has both clay in it and titanium dioxide, because the rose clay soap that I used had titanium dioxide. I did not add extra. But I just wanted to have, and I put a tiny bit of yellow clay soap in there as well, because I wanted it to be not super pink. I wanted it to be almost peach, and that's about the way it came out. I love the color of the way it came out. It was really, really pretty. Um, but anyway, that is telling you a little bit about the base that I made, the background for it. And as far as how much to make and add and all that and how you're measuring, I typically would take the mold that you are using and how much soap does that hold. I mean, hopefully unless it's a new mold, you might know how much it holds. Um, and put I melted about 3/4 worth of that, maybe a little bit less than that. Um, Aim for at least half, and if you have a little bit extra, it's always good. And I aim for the same thing with the scraps. I aim for it to kind of fill up the mold mostly, but not packed tightly, just loosely toss them in the mold, but don't leave them there. You'll be very tempted if you put them in that to measure, if you put them in your mold to measure the scraps, um, you'll be very tempted to just leave it there and pour the soap on top. I highly recommend against doing that, because you're going to end up with gaps, you're going to end up with bubbles, you're going to end up with pieces not adhering well. The soap doesn't get under the ones at the bottom. Um, it Anyway, that's just a chance of that happening. So I don't chance it. I much prefer to pour about half of my soap into the mold. Not half of the soap I have melted, but fill the mold halfway. This is the same process I used for my confetti soaps. Filled it halfway, then added my chunks or confetti, depending on what I'm making, and then top it off with more soap and then more confetti or terrazzo chunks, back and forth until I like it. Tap it down a little. You may have seen me shake the sides a little. I'm getting rid of bubbles. Spray with alcohol. The tapping um, or gently shaking kind of helps bring the bubbles to the top, so they're not caught under the little rock pieces, soap rock pieces. I did end up with one bubble in this one, so I don't feel like I tapped it hard enough. But that's on me, not on you. One is not going to hurt anything. It's when you get a bunch of them, or several areas where the soap doesn't stick properly or flow nicely under the soaps. One little bubble's not going to hurt anything or make the bar fall apart. So there's that. I just you'll see my bubble when I hold those up. It's pretty obvious because I hold them pretty close to the camera. I did add as a side note, I think I may have put this in the text at the top. I added just a tiny bit of Litsia cubeba essential oil. The rose clay soap had rose geranium in it. And yes, even though I microwaved it to melt it, it still maintained some of that because I went very carefully as far as my microwaving goes, very small increments. I was using detergent free soap, so it melted quite easily and quickly, and I didn't have to heat it to a point where it was going to destroy all of the geranium fragrance. I used geranium bourbon. If anybody um, knows much about essential oils, it's just a slightly different type of geranium. And some of that remained, and then I added a tiny bit of the Litsia cubeba, which is a lemony type of essential oil that is not citrus, and is not photosynthesizing, sensitizing. Sorry, photosensitizing. It does not do that. So you can use it in a soap and even in products for the skin without it causing problems for you. Um, as with all of the clay soaps in my series that I've done recently, and this is the last one for a while, I cut them in half because that's the style I'm going with. This is a whole project, and I wanted to keep them all the same. I was thrilled with both the color of the background and the color of the chunks and how it came together. Um, these were all made using no all natural colorants and all natural fragrances was my point with these, and they're all detergent free soap bases that I've used. So just I'm not going to say all natural because you can't do that in the U.S. and have it mean anything because that is not regulated. So I'm just saying they're as natural as I could get them. So here they are. That I think they came out absolutely stunning. I love both the color combination. I loved the fragrance and the way the pattern worked. You can see there are small chunks and big chunks. There's some textures in there as it gets as these soaps get closer. You can see the kind of really delicate little tiny swirls that were in the rose clay soap because I did have chunks in there too that were from a rose clay soap. Those you can see, and it looks like the texture of a rock. Same with I had that clay soap that had a green zeolite clay. That's the one I cut the end off of because there was too much zeolite clay. And so it gave little speckles, which look really cool. And here I'm just showing the difference between confetti and terrazzo. You can call the terrazzo soaps confetti because they kind of look like it, but I think it's nice to have a way to make a difference between these two. So the confetti soaps are the smaller ones, and the taller ones are the terrazzo soaps. And I just kind of wanted to give you a different way to look at those. There's the terrazzo, and there's the confetti, and the terrazzo and the confetti. I don't know why I felt like I had to show it that many times. I know you're smarter than that. And here is my last little picture. I always like to get one for my banner. And I'm really hoping if you've gotten this far that you've watched the whole thing, and I hope you try this. This is an easy project. Get some soap that didn't turn out the way you like it and cut it up. You want a soap that's colorful. Clear doesn't work as well. It can, but colorful tends to work the best. Experiment, have fun. Make a terrazzo soap, use up your scraps, or make a confetti soap and use up your scraps that way. I hope you learned something. Please let me know in the comment section if you have ever made a terrazzo soap. Thank you so much. Bye.